I really feel like God is testing those in this season to see who is really going to believe in the word of the Lord and what God has spoken for their lives in this period of time. This can be a season where you really step in and when you really break through to release into the atmosphere what God has placed inside of you. Or it can be a season of saying, I'm just going to sit back, I'm going to relax, I'm going to let things flow, and I'm going to begin in the new year. But you're already giving up. You're already saying to God that it's not possible. You're already becoming the defeated person that the enemy is trying to become in your soul. And so what I want us to realize that there's so much inside of us, there's so much potential inside of us when we actually come into the realization that it's not over, that the seasons are shifting, that even though it hasn't been shifted yet, that it still is to come. And I'm excited. I know that things are still being worked out in my life, and I actually got on here to not only encourage you, but to encourage myself to know that God is still moving, God is still transforming us into his image, into his likeness, so that we can be perfected. But it comes when we say yes, when we come into agreement and alignment with him. It's not just, him speaking to us and we're being like, oh yeah, that sounds good, God. And when we go back doing our regular thing, it happens when we come into agreement. And agreement means that we're both walking in the same way. So if God says walk this way, then we're saying, okay, God, I'm going to walk that way. And whatever that looks like, I'm going to walk that way because I come into agreement with what you are speaking. And so what the one thing that God is speaking over your life, are you in agreement with it? Or are you disagreeing, walking the other way, standing still, being like the horse, the mule, the disobedient mule? Are you disobedient in this hour? Are you being someone that cannot be overtaken by the Spirit of God, led by the Spirit of God? I feel like in this season, there's so many things that are enticing us to be someone that is less than the standard that God has equipped us to embrace. It's actually an equipment that is inside of us that we can so easily embrace. And all it takes is for us to just say yes. And so I encourage all of us on today. Hey, Kevin.
Hi.
You doing okay? Good to see you. You doing okay? Okay, God. Okay. So, on this day, what are we challenging ourselves to do? What are we walking towards? Because ain't nobody said it was going to be easy, okay? If that was the case, then the Bible would be filled. Let's just think about that for a second. The Bible would be filled with feel good, with lovey-dovey, with follow the Lord, and butterflies will follow. Let's just think about that for a second. But there were so many stories of trials in the Word of God. There were so many stories of trials and overcoming, and God improving himself strong in so many situations. That's what the Bible is filled with. And so when we become that in our own lives, we say, look at our own trials. We look at our trials. We look at our situation. And then we actually say, how can God be made strong in my life? How can God be made strong in my situation? What does God want to do in my life? I'm going to look at a story in the Bible that is similar to my situation. And I'm going to ask myself, how can I be made strong? How can God, not I, but how can I, through God, be made strong in my life? It's so important not to sit still and be complacent. I'm encouraging myself. I want to remind y'all to not be complacent because we have places to go. Just this morning, I woke up and I was like, it was a vision, something that I saw that helped me to see that God is doing something new in my life. So what are you seeing? Who are you speaking to that's diminishing what you're seeing? I love you guys. Please share this video as we challenge, as we exhort, one another to be filled up with the Spirit of God and to face strut into our purpose in this season and in this hour. I love you so much. Have an amazing day. Please share, comment, like, subscribe, and I will speak to you very soon.